The 7 worst foods for high blood pressure. High blood pressure, often known as hypertension, can lead to a variety of health complications, including eyesight loss, heart attacks, and strokes. Therefore, it is essential to maintain regular monitoring of your blood pressure in order to prevent further difficulties with your health and to ensure that it remains under control. Be aware of what elevates your blood pressure and which foods tend to do so more frequently in the general population. In most cases, the food that you consume will have a substantial impact on your overall health. What foods are the worst for high blood pressure? Number 1. Carbohydrates that have been processed to a refined state. If you are suffering from high blood pressure, it is in your best interest to keep a close eye on the amount of processed carbohydrates, particularly refined grains, which include white bread, pasta, and other similar foods. Your blood pressure may rise as a result of the rapid conversion of these foods into sugar in your bloodstream, and the flexibility of your arteries may decrease as a result of this. Number 2. Salt or sodium. This is by far the most typical application found in culinary arts. Many people might not realize that they consume an excessive amount of salt, which can cause high blood pressure. The sodium content of salt, which is 40% of the total, is one of the primary causes of high blood pressure. It is a primary cause of both cardiovascular disease and stroke, and it has a tendency to make your arteries rigid. Adults should limit their sodium consumption to less than 2,300 milligrams per day, which is equivalent to around 1 teaspoon. However, the vast majority of people inadvertently consume more than that. Salt is an ingredient that is difficult to eliminate completely from one's cuisine, although the amount of salt used can be reduced. Number 3. Meat that has been processed. Almost every variety of processed meat, including hot dogs, bacon, and sausage, typically contains an excessive amount of salt. The salt used to cure, season, and preserve these meats is intentionally added by the maker. Higher consumption of processed meats has been linked to a 27% increased risk of getting hypertension, according to the findings of a study that was published in the Journal of the American Heart Association. There are around 75 million people in the United States who are afflicted with this illness. Your blood pressure can be maintained at healthy levels by eating these types of processed foods no more than once a week. Number 4. Soups sold in cans. When you don't have much time or you're not feeling well, it's a good idea to prepare some soup from a can because it's quick and easy. On the other hand, canned soups contain a lot of sodium. It's common knowledge that canned soups have a high salt level, which can contribute to hypertension in some individuals. Even though eating a single can of soup once in a while probably won't harm you, if you're watching your blood pressure, it's probably best to steer clear of them. It's possible that the sodium content of canned broths and stocks and those that come in packages is comparable. This indicates that they have the potential to raise your blood pressure. Number 5. The refined form of sugar. Consuming an excessive amount of sugar causes the body to produce more fat and store more fat than normal. The majority of people who have high blood pressure have gained excess weight and are obese. It is common knowledge that carrying excess fat, particularly in the abdomen region, causes the arterial walls to become stiff, which in turn leads to elevated blood pressure. Stop eating foods that contain added sugar and increase your consumption of whole grains, fruits, and vegetables to mitigate the negative impacts of this behavior. Number 6. Alcohol. Consuming an excessive amount of alcohol can result in unstable blood pressure. Vasodilation, the widening of blood vessels, is one of alcohol's effects. Consuming large quantities of alcohol has been shown to produce severe swings in blood pressure. The more alcohol you consume, the greater the risk of developing high blood pressure. Drinking beer, which has a high carbohydrate content due to the vast amount of malt and hops used in its production, will also raise your risk of developing diabetes. Because drinking alcohol at any level, even in moderation, raises your risk of heart disease, it is essential to keep your alcohol consumption to no more than 1 or 2 drinks per day if you decide to drink alcohol at all. Number 7. Saturated fat is also known as trans fat. Saturated fats are commonly found in foods like fried foods, red meats, and dairy products. In order to lengthen the shelf life of packaged goods and ensure their consistency, manufacturers frequently add artificial fats. These are particularly hazardous to your physical well-being. In addition, they are associated with poor cardiovascular health, which includes a higher chance of developing high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes. However, fats are an essential component of the typical diet since they supply the building blocks that our cells require. It is therefore recommended to have a modest amount of unsaturated fats, which are excellent for your body and may be found in foods such as nuts, seeds, salmon, and avocados. Consuming a diet that is heavy in salt, fat, and sugar can raise blood pressure to unhealthy levels. Some of the worst foods for high blood pressure are that have been processed, red meat, and refined carbohydrates. Reduce your consumption of these foods and increase your consumption of fruits, vegetables, and grains that are whole in order to help maintain your blood pressure under control. Follow the Plant Tube for more plant-iful information. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you next time.